I want you to now say the same thing in your head without speaking. I want everybody to think Mary had a little lamb. Close your eyes or leave your eyes open and just listen to Mary had a little lamb. It's words. You could actually see the words. Close your eyes or keep your eyes open and think Mary had. What? That's a thought. So one is an out thought. Hello, Mary had a little lamb. It's a noise. But you can also hear or see, hear with your eyes closed or eyes open. You're actually hearing Mary had, am I correct? Mm-hmm. You could almost like hearing it, mm-hmm. But there's no noise. It's in your head. So, having done Mary had a little lamb, you can see that Roy Masters put a thought in your head that was the extension of saying it out loud, outwise. And that came from the world, and I'm in the world. That is an interesting thing, that you can actually think as if someone is talking to you. Not good.
Music does that to us all the time.
Huh? Yes, I'm listening.
Music does that to us all the time.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, boom, your favorite song will come up and you'll
the songs.
be going along with it in your head.
That's right. So you can use that, especially with respect to what you said was very good. Music. Music this and music that. It's coming from the outside. And as long as you have thoughts that talk to you, you've got to be very careful. The person who likes music, he likes it for what reason? He's singing it inside his head, even if he's not singing it with his voice. You can just walk around singing this song. As a matter of fact, I have to mention this, where in the last few weeks, I'm singing songs. Oh, Mary had a little lamb. I was walking around. But this, all of a sudden I realized this is ridiculous. I was singing and making silly remarks and laughing to myself for the funny thoughts I'm having. No, I'm not saying that's important, but it brought to me that thinking is like somebody else talking to you. And it is. Mostly is. And so therefore you need to look. I need to say more, but I don't know if I'm getting to you. Am I getting to you?
Yes.
Yes, good.
May I say something? As you were talking, and as you were saying that you've been singing,
Yeah.
if you watch a movie like Singing in the Rain, for example, the old-fashioned
Oh,
movie.
singing in the rain, what a glorious feeling.
But it tends to go along with happiness, though.
Pardon?
It tends to go along with happiness. When you're happy, you have a natural tendency to sing. So
Yeah, but if you're
what's
miserable, you have the
and then
same-
you can escape into it. But so what's the difference?
Well, when I was walking around my house the last 3 or 4 weeks and singing in the rain and
Right.
all the old programs and making fun with the words, some of them are rude. But the point is, that led me to understand that you really should not you've got to be very careful with the thoughts that come in your mind, whether it's Mary had a little lamb or whatever, is because you're connected to the world out there. And I'm singing songs, which is absolutely ridiculous. You have no idea the stupid things I'm saying and trying to make myself laugh. maybe. But you can actually hear him singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling. And sing. But where does this thought come from? Why am I doing this? Could it be that I don't want to see what I do want to see? Use music for that. Or it could be happiness. But a person at my age, that doesn't make sense. To sing, walking around all day long, singing in the rain, and different memory I had, and making and twisting all the verses, making them. But the thing is that foolishness and brightness and happiness, whatever you want to call it, it's coming from the world. And if I close my eyes, I can hear it singing. It's actually singing. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what it means? You can actually sing. And so many people have whatever I just said in other ways, thousands of things. Your mind is full of them, and they come to you. If one thing doesn't come, it comes another. And a situation comes up in front of you, and there it is again. Anger, hostility, escape, singing. I was singing all day. Everything I did, I was singing all the day. I said, what the hell am I doing this? Well, I'm doing it to learn. What I'm trying to say is thoughts actually have language. And those thoughts will come from the world. God never made us a music of course singing in the rain. It's coming. And it occupied my whole day, morning and night. You ask Wendy. She heard me all day, saying rude words.
Can I bring
to make myself laugh.
Can I bring something up that's along this lines?
Yes.
People that are in Alzheimer's state, they
Yeah.
can't remember from 1 second to the next, but they've discovered that if they put headphones on with music from their era, they can sit there and sing along with these music, the lyrics and stuff from their era. Or another person would be a pianist. They would set the book up in front of them. They can't remember, where the bathroom is, but they can sit there and go all the way through these recitals playing the piano perfectly. They can't remember anything else, but these certain impressions from their past can come forward.
And so I can play a piano to some degree, believe it or not, and I can remember it. I can actually play it.
But you're not into full-blown dementia with Alzheimer's. That's the how do I know, Mrs. Masters? Is this what?
What have I done to myself?
Was that your announcement for today?
But that's something that they've discovered about people.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like autism people as
Yeah.
well, that they have these,
Yeah, but it doesn't make it any better.
but
it's just a distraction.
it gets
Yeah.
deep into that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheryl?
I just wanted to say one thing.
Please.
In
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
I don't know why it makes me,
What?
you allowed yourself to sing all day and be in that place
Yes.
so that you could learn.
Yeah.
Whereas a person like me has been one that's tried to control my thoughts or my this or my that without understanding. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'll share something with you. I haven't had many people of this because I'm isolated. But the last time I remember was maybe several years ago. And the lady was very wealthy and a friend. It gave me this watch for helping, a gold watch that's about 30 years ago. Because I helped them to overcome. But she could not, this is interesting. It comes, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but she had to tell herself to wash the dishes.
Oh.
No, she has to speak to it.
Oh.
You have to wash the dishes. Okay, she goes, but if she doesn't say it, she doesn't do it.
Interesting.
But there must be something about that I've never heard before. But I hear lots of things that nobody ever heard before. But it's going on anyway. But I catch these things, and I never forgot it. She needed to be motivated by her own mouth to tell the self to wash dishes or whatever it is that she has to do all the time. I cured her for that. Well, I don't like the word I cured, sorry. But I was able to overcome that.
That's pretty suggestible.
Huh?
That's pretty suggestible.
How do you mean?
She, pretty suggestible, needing that she needs to say something before she can be motivated to do the
Isn't it
task
amazing?
by suggestion.
But other people are motivated by just, Mary had a little lamb in the head, in that sense. And they do it. I have a thought, I've got to do it. Now, I don't have any thoughts. I only wait for what I can see, given to see, but naturally, so I don't have any memory of anything telling me what to do. I'm to the best I can. Nothing tells me to do whatever I need to do with expert timing, with beautiful timing, which I couldn't possibly know, even if I knew it and did it. The timing is exquisitely necessary. So everything I think is now. I find myself doing now, but I'm just doing it. How else would you do it? I have no thought about doing anything when I do it. I may have a thought that I left something in the toilet when I went to the bathroom. It's important to go and get back what you lost there. There's a certain reminder. Oh, you forgot. Let's understand that. But do you see what I'm trying to say? And I'll try to say it again, it disappears. But I think most of you could, some of you, add a little bit to it. Yes, please.
Last week, you and Chuck relieved me of an illusion that I had, and when I was leaving the meeting, I didn't see it. I know you guys are wise, and I just didn't see it, but I had thoughts in my head exactly what you were talking about, and it was giving me, well, maybe they're wrong, I think they're, this, that, and that. And it was, I just watched that, and then a few hours later, it dawned on me what you two were revealing to me, which...
It's what you're really saying is I understand what you said. But you see, I think I can add something now as we go along. Mm-hmm. I'm intuitive And I've been intuitive since I was a kid. Never anything else. And so I didn't have to learn anything from anybody. If I saw physics, I could see the fault. I'm just a kid, or just a younger man. I've written, I think it's a 100-page science about what I saw. What I saw brought me to seeing other things, but they all come like, I see, but I don't have to say I see. No. I'm just saying it. And then I see it. I see that physics is wrong. I write about it. And when I've written about it, because I don't have anybody to talk to, of course, I have to write it down to have a book. That will be one day when I'm gone. It will become a very important thing. I know that I'm rejected by all physics and psychiatry and psychology. I know more than them. I appreciate my iPhone because I don't understand it. I'm thinking to myself, how does this, or any kind of radio energy, go from here to Australia in one fraction of a second? I'm thinking on that now. That's important. But it's in connection to the other things I've seen. I'm onto that in my head right now. But I'm not going to try to figure it. It has to come to me. And it comes to me without words. Oh, I saw that. I think I'll write that down, okay, so other people can get it. But not necessary that they will get it, but I got it. And they may not see it. Or one day somebody might see it. But I'm only interested in what comes to me without words. Not a single word. It's just, oh. I stop there for a minute. I see. Wow. Why can't they see that? It's clear. God is talking. He's showing me. You see? I would love to share my latest work, but I'm afraid it'd be stolen and twisted. So I'll wait till I kick the bucket, and then you can have it. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm kind of lost a little bit.
Yes.
So so you're saying to live in the present, always walk in the present, in the moment.
Yes.
Okay, now, do we focus on having positive thoughts? Because thoughts are always coming to us. Focus on just having positive thoughts that keep our well-being?
My ears are not as good as they used to be. Did anybody hear what she said?
Yes. Well, let me ask him another question.
Give it to the lady.
Okay.
Excellent question. Keep
Oh,
going.
okay, so we focus on having positive thoughts,
No.
and when we do have a thought, or when God speaks to us, it's through a
What-
feeling? Is it
what
a
you-
feeling?
That kind of thought is different from the kind of thought that comes from outside. It comes from inside, it has no words. It's there. Oh!
But is it a feeling?
Like
When it
that.
has no words, is it a feeling?
No, it's not a feeling.
It's just an understanding.
I don't know if I can explain it, but to put it in your head. But all I can tell you how it happens to me. And I think it should be the same way for you. No. In other words, all of a sudden I find myself looking at a helicopter. and it has a rotating propeller. What do they call that big propeller?
It's a rotor. It's a propeller, but it's called a rotor.
Is it?
Yeah, rotor.
All right, whatever it is. Yeah. But they have another one at the back. 90 degrees to the correct. Why does it want? I'm not sure if they're thinking about this, but I think they just see it, that they have to do that. And otherwise, the helicopter will go right to the ground like a hoop, but it can't be a hoop because it's not the shape. What is that necessary? What is going on with the one that's 90 degrees to the ground like a hoop? And the hoop, the faster it goes, the stronger it is. But it doesn't take much just to push a hoop, and it stands up 90 degrees to the degree that it doesn't wobble. And it doesn't take much for a hoop just to roll it at 90 degrees. Then I see that if that airplane, helicopter, would lose the 90 degrees to the earth, its propeller is doing the same thing to an invisible something or other equivalent to what? Equivalent to the what's that?
The propeller on the back.
Yes, but to the rolling something.
The hoop.
There's something in invisible, so that when the propeller goes this way, it's loyal to something equivalent to Earth which you can't see. Now, I don't think the average psychiatrist or scientist understands that. Do you see what I mean? It's doing the same thing, but you can't see the 90 degrees world, but it isn't a world. But it acts like a world. It's a duty to the world to be that way, so powerful. If that thing dropped, if that one thing drops at the tail relative to the Earth, then the whole airplane will go to where it belongs. And you crash. It comes right out like that, towards the invisible world.
One influence to the other influence. Okay. One influences the other influences, but what we don't see is the influencer.
Yes, but it's having the same relationship to something you can't see.
That's what I'm trying to say, Mr. Masters.
Yeah.
You said it better than I did, but that
But you
was
see,
my...
that's my thinking. And there's other things that connect together. When that comes, there's a whole fleet of interesting things. And I just love that. Mm-hmm. Now I have to find out, why is it? That's not easy. You can't, all we know that people that make airplanes and helicopters, that's it works. That's all they care. They don't go beyond. I want to know, and I will know, possibly before I die. But nobody will believe me, because you can't see it. Yes.
Hi. I came here today with a question of what's normal? Because what's normal? I know that we strive for the stillness.
Say again?
I know that we strive for stillness.
What
We
did she-
meditate
what
to
did
be
she say?
still.
I didn't understand what she's saying.
She says we strive for stillness.
Oh, I don't strive for stillness, no.
Okay, well, I do. So I
Don't do
know
it.
in moments when I meditate, and there's a, and I'm going to use the word God, and God is there. Where am I all day long when my awareness is not with God? And what is normal? Like, just to wake up every day and I'm just a person, I feel like, am I evil all day long except for the moments that I have the
I can
awareness
give you
of
an
God?
answer. I can give you an answer. Very easy. And if you just find the word. Forgive me for a minute, but I think that you're not longing for purpose. There's two purposes. One is to glorify yourself in this earth, in the world, and follow that through to get worse and worse. But the better you get, the further you get from what is the most better of all, everlasting life. So you can go on for what reason, and we can talk about the reasoning, but for what reason we are willful, and we want to find happiness and purpose, which satisfies the ego. And you can be very successful at that. You can do things, you can be clever at things, and see things, and learn things, and apply things, and it goes, but it doesn't go as it should. You're not growing. You're not going to grow anywhere that will take you to paradise lost. But paradise lost to some people is happiness and feeling good about themselves, seeking pleasures, and then becoming dependent on pleasures, and looking for more. To the degree that they're successful at one thing, is excitement. And he's doing good. And then he from that excitement, and some of the things that really actually work. But we have to talk about what I mean by that later on. But they have a system of thoughts which really is workable, but workable in a wrong way. It doesn't bring you to Creator. It brings you to happiness and everybody loving you and say, what a clever, wonderful person you are. And it's like worshiping you. I don't want worship. I don't want people to look at me that way. I don't want them to put me on a pedestal. I don't want to put anybody on a pedestal. All I want you to do is to have a longing for meaning. Do you, ever since I can remember, and now I can't use the word longing, but it is the only word I have. So it has to be something silent and natural, which I call longing, but there's no longing. Forgive me, I don't know, these are words. There are no words, in a manner of speaking, that can express this. I'm doing my best, but there's no thought. There it is. I'm thinking there's no thought, but there's no way of saying it. I'm saying no thought, but then you say, I don't want to think. But see, I can't tell you how effortless my life is. All I do is nothing. Of myself, I can do nothing. The Father within me, oh, it's coming. I just didn't realize I had a piece of the scripture. Of myself, I can do nothing. The Father within me does this thing. Now, there it comes. I remembered it. I read it. I don't speak it very often, but there it is. But all of a sudden, I remember, oh, I've read it in the scripture. It just came to me just like that. But that's verifying. It's almost impossible. I can play with this, if you don't mind, around and round. I'm trying to express what is not expressible. You see me struggling, in a manner of speaking, because I long to know, get you to know what I don't want to know. I can open the scripture. Huh? It's like the helicopter. Oh. What did he say? Why did he say that? Fine. I can't explain it, but I know what it means. I can't tell anybody. Are you following this insanity?
It's not insanity.
Right. Is it wrong to have a goal, to want to go to heaven? Is that my ego?
It's wrong to have a goal. Got it. Bang.
Yeah.
The goal is physical. Everybody wants a goal. But there's a goal that doesn't have a word. You can't say this is a goal. It's a longing of the Father. Something, God, how can I describe a being that always was? It's crazy, isn't it? Because we are created. Everything else is created. How come He always was and always will? It's impossible, but I can see so. And He is, since He gave me an Adam shape in His likeness, He made Himself in me as a likeness, or anybody else. Women, same thing, in the same way. They come into the world. But He also gave me the ability to long for Him, meaning it's in us. We are either, but we have a choice. He wants us to choose Him, but He's not going to make me, or give me any way. It has to come from me. Intuitiveness. When I come into the world, when you come into the world, He gives you intuition, the ability to see what nobody else can see, as long as you are looking for the Father that you cannot see. I know there's a Father that cannot see. I know that He's always been there, and I can't explain it, and damn it, I shouldn't try. Shouldn't. It's obvious, and He never stops evolving the universe. He never stops. He's a creator, never ending, what you call evolution. It's a bad word. It's good enough for the time being. But the glory and the beauty of this in a human being. You come into the world, and the world comes into you. And when the world comes into you, and you see your parents, injustice of your parents, the craziness, you can see it at 2 years old. Shock. And you get shocked and put down. You're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. That's a shock that makes you doubt. It goes the other way. You understand doubt? Doubt is as dangerous as the opposite, faith. It has the same power backwards. So the minute you come into the world and the world comes into you, you have a shock. You have a shock at the point where you can see with your intuition which your parents lost. And the shock is seeing what horror and stupidity and whatever it is that the children see, and they all do. Some go with the parent to hell and never coming back, or perhaps coming back. But to a person like myself, since I had a good father who died at 42, but he had something about him beyond being a father to me. But there was another father that he had beyond. And when he died, it appeared to me clearly that I had the whatever he had. And without words, I was able to continue what he would have continued had he lived. But had he lived, I would have been a diamond cutter for the rest of my life. He had to die. That's the thing. Whatever it is, God has done it. He put me in that place. But the beauty of it, he had to die. Because had he not died, I loved him, and he could do anything. He could build a house, a car, a watch, 11 languages. But he was gentle and never pushed, cruel. There's something in him that gave birth to me, and not my brother, just for me. That's God's business. I'm not glorified by that. He came into the world and gave me a special father who loved the Father. So when he died, I inherited the Father, the spiritual Father. And everything was simple. I could do anything. Make explosives, with chemistry, do all kinds of remarkable things with electricity and et cetera, all those little pieces lying around. So, I'm not sure if I'm running away with myself here.
Can I
All I know.
Can I add something or
Yes,
ask something?
I'm almost finished.
Okay.
Can you hold it all right? All right, just finish. But the thing is, I'm coming back to the fact that when I think of something, I don't think of it with words. I think of it, oh, that's interesting. Oh, and there it goes. And when it goes, it leads to the next one. And when it goes to the next one, it goes to the next one. And it goes this way and that way. In every direction until I can see everything, but not everything. Everything I'm capable of and useful for. Not like him, who could do anything. But I can see, as you can see, I have a certain power that doesn't belong to me. It's him. is Him to a degree where He shows me what my purpose is for Him. And so therefore, I don't have to think of something. It appears unexpectedly. Oh, oh, and each one, I long. I see that. I write about it. In I don't know the words. It's all the words, but it leads me to other things. Like the helicopter is going to be leading me to other things, because I think it's important. They're missing something which is obvious. They can't explain it, but I want to explain it. I want to find it at this moment. That is what I'm thinking about. Now, I may never find it. I may find something that is not relevant to that. We don't know what it is. All I want is it to come from within me. When I came into the world, when you all came into the world, you came into the world with the ability to see what God wants you to see. But the trouble is, and I want you to see this is important, it's your parents, the extension of your parents. I was fortunate, as Jesus was fortunate, to have a good mother. He also had a decent father, but he died. It was a good mother. Understood. Mary was a special young lady, but women can have that special quality also. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a Jesus, would we? If he would have done, get upset and be impatient, all that. She was like my father. She had, as a woman, the understanding that she had to pass on to Jesus or make sure he is in the right road. That is beautiful. I don't know what I'm saying now exactly, but I can't get educated. Educate. There's a Latin word for that, educere, to bring forth from within. That's it. All of you have got to stop listening to your thoughts. Mary had a little lamb, and music, and whatever it is you learned at school, throw it away. Or if it comes back to you at a certain point, but remember, when you come into the world comes into you quick, and then it turns you in the opposite direction with the same power of evil as it would be power with good. They both have the same powers, pulling you in down to darkness and pulling you up to God who loves you. See the difference?
As you're speaking right now,
It's what it is an inclination. What is your inclination? Meaning. It's all you want. What is this? Oh, what is that? I can't tell you. But if I speak to you now, I'm just saying what I said before. How is that blade of grass? How did it know to have life? What gave it life? Did it give itself life, a blade of grass? Let alone everywhere on earth, but just that one thought. How did it become alive? That blade of grass is alive. Well, not the kind of life that we have, but is alive. Something had to create it. There it is. just a blade of grass.
Can I share something about something that I just saw? Is that when you said, when God gives you something, it leads you over here, and then it leads you to here. And the way my thinking works, and it's a huge thing for me to see this, is it's death. Because my thought goes nowhere. It dies. But it allows, this is big for me, but it allows that thinker, the wrong side of me, to live.
Well,
And it,
I just you can stop there if you like. I understand. You're stubborn. You have a stubborn side. And I think that there's something good in there, though. But I can't guess it. You're here every Sunday, and you're listening, and you seem to be a lot better than you were before.
yes.
But there's something about you. I have a son, and he's the opposite to me. He takes what I say and turns it around. In other words, if I say, teach him, son, be careful. When people are cruel, they want to get inside you. And they're cruel because when they came into the world, their parents were cruel. And they have the extension of their parent. So they're no longer their little boy. They're no longer a little girl. In other words, when you come into the world and the customs come inside you. And therefore you have the identity of your mother, the identity of your father, mostly the identity of your mother, because she gives birth to you. And so tendency is to go back to that when you are married. You go back to the pull of the woman and call it love. Bingo. You're finished. You're going to die. Most men die from being married. You wonder why women live longer. Because they have more power. They always had. So when you come into the world as a man, you're not a full... The scripture said it. It says, because you've done these things, you become entwined with a woman, as one flesh. So you're not a real woman, not really a man when you were born. Not the kind of man, but the man that will look to the woman again and procreate whole universe of broken people. The wife, the mother that gives birth to the kid, a male kid, and a female kid who needs to be loved, because Eve has never been loved. And so what you're dealing with a woman who attracts you, and you fall in love, you're falling away from what love is all about. And you never know it. You're standing in her shoes. But those little children, like me, see something wrong. With her, I saw my mother. She was weak, but sweet. And when she died, I didn't cry. When my father died, I shed tears. And if I went to his graveyard to see it, I'd cry. Because it's not an emotion, it's respect. It's a longing to see what's not only him, but beyond him, which, because of the longing, the loving of him, that God loved him, I inherited what you may not be able to because of my circumstance. But you can find your circumstance just the way I find it by realizing what I've been saying. Don't resent your mother. She couldn't help herself. But don't blame her for her cruelty, for her stupidity, for them spoiling you and rotten. God is judgmental. But judgment is mine. You cannot judge your mother. And you cannot forgive her. You mustn't use those concepts ever. But in the middle, this is what you can say. This is, all these little things are very delicate. You can see your mother, if mother is the one, which usually is. You can see that she cannot see. And then I'll put it together with Jesus. I read about him. I know him. He knows me. And so when the scripture, the Ten Commandments, which is only 10 commandments, but one thing is there, important. And that is honor your mother and father, that the days may be long on the Lord thy God giveth thee. And it goes on in a positive way, negative and positive. And so that is when he cries out, when he is under terrible consternation, being murdered slowly and surely with great horror. What did he say is the 10 Commandments? Honor your mother and father. But what does it mean? It means, what did Jesus say exactly? Oh.
Forgive them.
I just lost it. What did he cry out when he finished?
Forgive them, Father, for they know not what
Say it,
they
I can hear it.
Forgive them, Father, for they
Forgive
know
them, Father, for they know not what they do. That is covering it perfectly. You don't have to forgive them, and you don't have to judge them. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. That is what you have to do to survive. Is that correct? How can you judge them? You don't need to judge. It's dangerous to judge. It's dangerous to give in. See? That most of you who have suffering have been, excuse the expression, screwed by the fact that she thinks she knows what good is. And she will get impatient to make you good, push you to make you good, appease you to make you good, hate you for your goodness, for your innocence. Whatever it is, it's horror, a big parcel of horror. She doesn't see it, and she will die and never, or she could, when you grow up, talk to your father. Say, Father. And Father may be, there's something that I need us to say because it's so solid. It's not that solid because there could be a father that was, and a mother that was such as I described. And you can't forgive them because that's for God. And you can't judge them. That's for God. Judgment is mine, saith the Lord. But what you can say, in the middle, he gives you, let them go. See, forgive them for they know not what they do. What a beautiful thing. Why, I often ask the question when I hear Jesus, this is a long time ago, why is he saying this? Forgive them, Father. Loud. Ten Commandments has it similar, but he cries it. Forgive. He doesn't forgive them. They know not what they do. In that sense, they know not what they do. That is what you must see. Did he say forgive them, for they know not what they do? Yes. Yes. But that's a different kind of forgiveness, isn't it? It's not a judgment. It's not those two, each side. But so, if you do this, it's all of you sitting here are suffering. How many people are not suffering from their parents? Put up your hands. That's why you're here. Because if everything was as you like it to be, there wouldn't be any choice. There's got to be a choice. There's got to be a longing. And in that longing, great suffering comes around. I have suffered. You have no idea. But I don't remember suffering because I didn't suffer in the suffering. If you see what I'm saying, it's painful, long, horrible, everything, calm. I'm just aware of it, just aware of it, just aware of it, just aware of it. But I do nothing, just aware. I hold my ground. It wants me to break. It wants me to hate. It wants me to love something. Now I come to the word, now. It's always now, always the same, but something beautiful happens. You're on a journey. You don't know that. Now is forever. There is no such thing as now in the world. It flows. You can't be still. Now is forever. And now, there's a word. The now is nothing. It's just now. And through that now, you are given the gift of meaning. And it flows. And nobody can stop that. No matter how people are cruel, how they torture you, how they degrade you, now is still nothing to them. But now is a pseudo-future. I don't know if the word pseudo is appropriate, but it's an everlasting future. And the thoughts don't come from here, they come from the back of your mind somewhere. It's called the light. And it shows you what you should understand. It shows you when to do it. You have nothing, you just wait for the wretched knowing. All of a sudden you pick up and do something, but you don't sense why you did it. And when it was clear that what it is interesting, and you had to do something about it, do not worry. You just wait and see. And if nothing happens, wait and see continues being wait and see with something else. And the wait and see is already past. You've done it, but didn't realize you did it. And what I'm saying, to put it all in a big pile, everything now is nothing to anybody else but understood what that word means. But to me, now is everything He's given me in the everlasting now. Because in this other world, now is forever. In the in the other world. Now is forever. You are in relationship with your Creator, doing things, evolving, and when you pass away, but let me go backwards. When you've done this thing and listening to the now, what you are experiencing is the gift of seeing and the gift of doing and the timing, so that you just do things so effortlessly. People will say, how is it you can do this? And you say, what do you mean? What do you mean? How do I know? That's a question. I don't know how I know. I can't tell them how I know. I'm speaking to you in a way that is the best I can say it. I'm always seeing things, and it's just a wonderful journey. Wonderful journey. My background is huge. But you know what? I left it all behind. I've lost my ability to speak as good as I should. But that is even also good. Because the only way I can speak, as you can hear me now, is by throwing away all the other things that make it, that it was important then. It's no more important because it brought me to the next important thing. And it never ends. And so if I want to put it in a simple way of saying it, I'm a nincompoop. It means I don't know why I know. It's how comes you don't know? How is it you don't know? But you do know from the world. You do know from thoughts. Mary had a little lamb. And you can hear it in your thoughts, so you don't have to say it. And you don't have to judge, and you don't have to curse anybody, but you can curse them inside your head. All that has to go, so that nothing of all that, and see your parents, and you don't want to see their poor parents. They may be, who knows about what the future is with your parents that die before they are able to grasp what caused them to die. I keep saying to my wife here, listen to me. She's listened to me for 64 years, still doesn't get it. She's a decent person.
Well, you don't talk loud enough.
Huh? No, really.
I just said that to be funny.
It's all right. But you see, but guess what? Maybe this is not necessary to say, but she's difficult. But there's something there that I owe to my truth when I'm married. 64 years, if it takes another 64 years, I will wait for her. I'm not like an ordinary man. I am stronger for her difficulties because I'm holding my ground and not being upset, hoping that she will see one day. And if she doesn't, that's all done. But as long as she is alive, I will take care of her with godly love. That is a difficult thing for any man to be that way. Am I correct? But it's necessary. Gentlemen, be careful. When you're married, you're connected to the woman. All you need to understand is you are going to die because you married for a wrong reason, for pleasure, for a sense of worth, for fulfillment. All that is, but I see that's not true. I see that's what people do, and men are dying, cancer, everything you can think of, mental illness. You don't hear women that way, but they're also going to go crazy too, because they lose their husband and nobody else cares for them, and they put them in a strange place and wait for them to die.
May I say something on this happy note? We're all going to die, and every man is going to die because they married their woman for the wrong reasons.
Correct.
And you're explaining to us your frame of mind and where you are, but you're talking to an audience of carnal minds that are so entangled in thoughts and quandaries and questions, and how does Mr. Masters get to this place? And I call it, excuse me, but I've coined the understanding by you as masternomics. That's what I say, yeah, well, you have to understand masternomics. But is it not that we can obtain the same paradise keeps coming in my mind, but that's not it. The same peace of mind or the same, I can't describe
Let me help you.
for them or us or me through your meditation.
Correct.
By being taught or the exercise showing us how we can make the distance between this carnal mind
Yes.
and having the watcher, through our eyes.
Yes.
And I constantly, I'm watching my hands because my hands is grounding me, and I'm watching this out here. Always the reminder that, this is out here. And I'm apart from that. The watcher inside my mind is watching my hands and watching everything here and seeing everything here as in a distance. I'm watching through my window.
That's well said.
Okay, that's
It is
fine.
well said.
Now here's another question, if I may, since I have the microphone and your attention. When we have unfinished business, and that unfinished business,
What does that mean?
unfinished business like in a relationship or a something that's problematic that we have with someone else, unfinished business that has not yet been resolved,
No, stop.
okay?
Just stop for a minute. If you understand what I said in this discussion today,
Yes, sir.
it's always now.
Yes, sir.
And so you don't do anything. You don't divorce. And if he wants a divorce, let him have the divorce. But don't do anything. In other words, don't divorce. If he's a bad person, don't divorce. Stay calm. It drives him sane, or it drives him insane.
Really
Excuse-
good advice for married people.
Yeah,
But-
it is, but it's the same with everything.
It is the same with everything.
I'm always
If you're
now. I'm
looking,
always now.
if you're understanding
But
that.
you got to understand this. I'm always now, and always now cannot be upset. It
Right.
cannot choose anything that anybody tries to do. So if the person wants to divorce you, try to say, yes, let's try to do this. But he wants to do it. Hold your ground. Let it go. It is meant. It's meant. But if you have the now I'm talking about, there's something in that can bring, just by holding your ground and letting him rave, taking a relationship with a relationship we were talking about. And if you stay calm and not know what to do, it's fine. Don't do anything until you know what to do.
Got it.
Got it.
Got
So,
it.
in that state of mind, he is trying, in his state of mind, he's trying to get you upset to justify what he's about to do. And if you get upset, you get broken, and he is an idiot.
Very cool.
Always now. Now you think that's silly, but in the now, I am brilliant. But it's not brilliance of me. It's the brilliance of him giving me what to do when. When to say, when not to say. The timing. So if you had all the knowledge, but you didn't have the timing, gone. You have to have everything. And so everything is in the word now. Everything. Wait and see. Now, the word wait and see has a great way of seeing now, can't you? Wait and see. It's the way you talk to people, but you don't realize what you're saying in another sense. Wait and see, and before you know it, the situation will get better because you haven't made it worse. You haven't reacted. You haven't reacted. That's what I'm saying. You didn't get upset. You didn't judge. Judgment is mine. I do not know what to do, but not knowing what to do is fine. Because you have to sit quietly and survive the cruelty, the craziness to get you upset so he could justify being angry with you and do what he wants, which is not good. And see that?
Yes.
And likewise.
Yes, I see that.
Now, what we had today is pretty heavy stuff. But it's really that there's nothing to it. It's, can you grasp how important it is to understand? I don't know. But I will know if I just shut up and wait and not be in a hurry. It will happen. So, how can I continue more? Because I'm sitting here, I didn't know what I was going to say, but roughly I did. And you got me to sort of speak about what's going on inside me. And I did that the best that I could do. How many people got hold of this? Does anybody got hold of it? What percent? Can I see a whole bunch again? And yes, I think that's a good percentage. Yes. Did you want to say something?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just.
I wish I could see that person who's.
I was just saying.
Can you stand up so I can see the handsome?
No, I didn't. Well, since I have the mic, I will say something. But I was just saying I didn't hear your question when you were asking people to raise hands. But my wife told me what it was.
Far away.
I did get a hold of what you said.
You did?
I did. Yes.
That's good.
Yeah. No, it's
Now shut up. No, just joking.
No, it's always a pleasure. I live in the Bay Area, and it's always a pleasure when I come and I get to come and see you, because I brought, my son and my wife and my mother.
Oh, let me see. Can I see you? Can you stand up so? Oh, that's a whole family.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
But But
Doesn't this kind of discussion make everything so simple?
it does.
It's so simple. Love can only be valuable to understand what love is. Love is not in the world.
Right.
Love is not in sex. It's usually opposite. They screw each other. Excuse the expression.
Yeah. Right.
Because all he does is look to Eve that needs to have the hell loved out of her.
Yeah.
See?
Right.
And so,
Yeah, it's
but
been
she
well
never
over.
gets it.
It's been well over 50 years now since I first met you. And, you know, I mentioned it before, but way back on Western Avenue, my mom brought me to see you.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and
I wish you.
and the same message that you have now was the message that you had then. But as a boy, I was like 7 years old or so, 6 or 7. But I remember the message that you have where I could track with a lot of the deep things, and I still can't, but I can track with all the message that you gave, like never take advantage of anyone and never allow anyone to take advantage of you. Those simple messages like that.
But you can take, with that sense, you could take from me what I can't stop you taking.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't get upset.
Right.
You can have it
Right.
not a thought. I don't like the thoughts. How can I say this? I just can't think how to say it.
Mm-hmm.
But trials and tribulations, cruel, betrayal, just add everything that you've taken. Somebody blows your kid away. There's a little pain, but no resentment.
Right.
You've got to be so. I tell you a little story. And it was told to me by my attorney, who went to see all those horrible things with the Jewish people being murdered, you know. And when they went to the camp as a soldier, he saw all these people lying around, just bones, and dead bones and live bones. Horror. How could possibly they do that? The horror. And so they found one person that was still alive. And he was clean, and he had some clothes on. And they said to him, "How long have you been here? You look normal." He says, "I can't tell you, but a strange thing happened. I was in Warsaw, and the Germans came and killed 4 of my daughters right in front of me. And I began to get angry, and something says, 'Stop being angry.' And I stopped. And so the man says, 'How long ago was that?' He says, 5 years. 'How is it you still look normal? And everybody else is dead and broken bones.' He says, 'I do not know.'" That's magic.
It is.
You will have magic if you don't let anybody take you away from God by way of being upset, annoyed, irritated. See?
Amen.
It doesn't cost anything. It is only give you tremendous, I can't find the word. What words can explain forever? In your life here, you are a beautiful man. You are a beautiful gentleman. I know it. It's clear. You're on the right path, and apparently with your parents and everybody with you. What a beautiful family. What beautiful it is. And I want to say something about that beautifulness, but it disappeared. Oh yes. When you start to listen to be still and know, which brings you to the everlasting now. And the only energy you have is different from everybody else's energy. Scripture talks about the light. And Roy Masters has discovered something. It was given to me. And I won't tell you the story of it because it was very simple. But I came to understand this. How does I get a person to be disconnected from his monkey brain? Because we have a monkey brain which is not much different from a human brain. But because we have intellect, we have intuition, and the intuition can be destroyed to some degree. But it's there somewhere. But let me put that aside for a minute. I've lost my thought. But what I'm saying, yes, I can continue it. Whenever you start to live the way you're living, you are creating a body with a body inside you. And on the opposite side, when you're hateful and horrible and taking your life away from other people, somebody takes the life away from you, a bully, then you turn around and becoming a bully to somebody else to get what you lost to the bully, appeasing them and being sucked from it. And I'm losing it just a little bit because it's not easy to express. Oh yes, it's a body within a body. And if you are in the wrong way, you hate good. And you hate your children. You hate Donald Trump. Look at him. Look at this man. He's a man. He's made mistakes, get it. But he's a man. And look how he's changing everything, terrifying the bad people. But look how many bad people we have in our country.
Right.
They're crazy.
He reminds me a lot of you, but without all the worldly things that he went through early. But he reminds me a lot.
But he has it. He has it inside.
Yeah.
What you're seeing outside is coming from the inside, such as I understand with him.
Right.
See that? So let me just say one more thing so that I can say it. You are in your patient endurance, in that wonderful patient that now. That's what we're talking about. It seems like nothing. It's everything. It's more than you could possibly understand. But you are, without realizing it, the way you react is to the Creator as you have understood. And you're building something inside you called another body within your body. So when you die, your physical body dies. You'll find yourself in another realm where everything came from, so you could be in that realm. Do you follow that?
I do.
And so you'll see your hands, and if the ones are like this, they're smooth. And you will find yourself in a different world. I can't describe it. All I know I can tell you is that you won't know you're dead. You will look in the mirror and you'll see the same person, a little bit nice, better looking than you are now.
Hopefully you're yes.
But it has to be better.
You know, another thing when I was a kid, I remember you saying, even before you became American citizen, you said that you were going to help save America.
What was that again? I didn't hear.
Another thing, when I was a kid, before you became American citizen, you said you were going to help save America.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, it's amazing how God works, but it's in so many different ways. I mean, not just in all of our hearts here, that we go out and do different things, but the people that you have touched, it was a man, Bruce Hutchinson. He ran for U.S. Senate many years ago in California, and I always admired him. He was like a Sean Hannity in his day.
I'm not quite catching.
Oh, there was a gentleman.
When we were speaking about spiritual things,
Pardon me.
I was able to hear you.
Oh, okay.
So, what is the point? You tell me?
Okay. But the point is that you said you were going to save America.
Say it again.
You said you were going to help save America. And
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you did. But I think about the people that you were able to touch outside of us. You know, people like Sean Hannity, people like Bruce Hutchison, people like Matt Drudge. Matt
Drudge, I love.
And I know
the other one you spoke about just now.
Well, you know, but you know, I mean, just like I do, Sean has a lot of growing to do, just like I do. But he does admire you, and he said I heard him say he thanked God for you because his father died early, but he said you were here that he can talk to, and I know if it weren't for people like Matt Drudge who said I heard him say that.
Just leave Matt Drudge alone. Matt Drudge is a wonderful guy. I cannot. How can I say this? The way I met him. I went to a program for all the people in the radio networks, and it all has big mouths. And he was getting some kind of graciousness, and you know, he was an important person,
Right.
And they were giving him a party or something like that, and I was in the back somewhere, and they started to talk to him. I didn't know who it was. I don't know about people. Not involved in all that stuff. But they started to irritate him. He's getting some kind of gift, you know, for his work. And they started to talk to him in a way that's not right. I'm sitting in the back. I got up. Shut up! This man is there for a purpose that you brought him here for. Let him speak. Sat down. And you can actually, there is one part on Facebook that you can only hear that very, very softly. But then he came to sit at my table, and we became friends. I've seen him several times, just several. But he is a very person that likes to be by himself and not have anybody as friends. But he became a friend. I haven't spoken to him many, many years, but we had a nice relationship. That is beautiful. He was grateful.
He said that you helped him with his heart.
Yeah, I really just gave him hell.
Yeah.
All right.
But
thank you very much.
But I just know that if it wasn't for those people, I don't believe Donald Trump may have got enough votes to be president.
Oh, listen to that man. I love him.
Yeah.
He is similar to me. And give me the opportunity, and you'll see how much I am like him.
Yeah. I've already seen it.
Yeah. All the time. Well, dear family, thank you for coming. I hope you come again and enjoy our relationship with each other. What I want to do, this is a sort of commercial. Everything I have right now, Be Still and Know, there's a series of, I can't remember the name of the book. It's a religious book, a solid cover.
The Kavoris manuscript?
What was it?
The Kavoris manuscript?
I can't hear it. Kavoris manuscript, yes. about 40, 50 years ago, I spent 1 hour on my own radio station. I owned a radio station. And I spent 1 hour reading this small book. It's so beautiful. It's the
The Aramaic translation of
that's
the Bible.
correct. That's correct. Thank you. And so I took it and ad-libbed it. So this is what it means. This is what it says. And I have that. And you can get 8 discussions on my website, no charge. You can also go to Be Still and Know, no charge. Also, 7-minute meditation, you should start with that, no charge. Everybody on earth can log in. I'm not going to give them to take it away because other people could ruin it. But all you need is press your button and you're there as if it was in your iPhone all the time. I've done this and make everything for free. The more it goes, the more I'm going to release more other things for free, but it's not easy as it looks. And the reason is, I have found that people are so gracious, they get better. And they say, what? How is this? He doesn't want any money. It's in them. It is in them to do the right thing, which is gratifying. They send donations. Not as much as I should have, but when I reach more people, there will be more. Their heart is in it. And I would believe if they didn't, they would lose it. That's how I think of it. Jesus had 10 people cured. And he said, only one came and said thank you. See that? So what the percentage is sufficient with a huge number of people with no cost. It doesn't cost us anything, basically, to let people have it. That's what I'm doing. I'm only interested in making the world a better place. I don't have to climb up mountains. I don't have to run from city to city, country to country. It's there. My voice, the explanation, and when I'm gone, it will go on to every country on earth. Every man, every person, black, white, pink, any kind. We all have that same spiritual because we're all human, regardless of your color, regardless whether you're standing on your head. You're a human being. Not standing on your head, of course. But it is like standing on your head when your life is completely wrapped, and your future, which is the wonderful thing that God has made us to choose, to long for the purpose and for nothing else. Nothing else in the world. Yes, you have to have money. Yes, you have. But the way you go about it is in the now. How can I say it without being braggadocious? I'm a young man and been in the military, been in Africa, in dangerous places. And I don't want to brag. It's the dangerous things that happen. I don't want to talk about them right now. But I never lost my cool. And not losing my cool, it keeps me safely with our Creator. Because if you react to anybody, you are choosing to react to something that will destroy you. And so understanding that, I decide never to react. And to, in sense, God felt, I sensed his presence saying, he doesn't speak like that, but he gives me the ability to be strong. And there's another word for strong, which is not good enough. But it has to be, because I can't find that other word. So I have this, I'm now 90 years old. I have not flinched. I held my ground, and that ground is God, everlasting. That's all I want to say. Thank you very much.